The day I was diagnosed with cancer, I tied up my boss, who had been squeezing me, on the bed and had my way with him from head to toe. Do you like this or not, huh? Speak up. That night, my boss's authority and his designer suits were strewn all over the floor. From then on, he always kept his distance from me when speaking. After a month of arrogance, the hospital informed me of a misdiagnosis. That night, I was pinned down on the CEO's office desk by a man in a suit. Chapter 1. Samuel was tied up by me on the bed. His expression was unbearable yet restrained. And on the ground, his designer pants and limited edition shirt were scattered all over. My fingers traced along the lines of his abdominal muscles. Do you like this or not, huh? Speak up. I am your boss. So what if you're my boss? It's all the same even if we turn off the lights. His face turned ashen, veins bulging on his forehead in humiliation. Lydia, I thought about it. That PowerPoint presentation doesn't have to be done tonight. If you have a grudge about it and do something foolish, it's really not necessary. Do it, why not do it? Do it until dawn. I went straight for it. He gasped in shock. His questions went from "Are you a girl?" to "Can you do it?" Inside out. In just a few minutes. In no time, he looked like he was about to pass out. I was dumbfounded. The person who could scold me for 2 hours without taking a breath, now started panting in just 3 minutes? It was at this moment that there was a knock on the door. Who is it? He said hoarsely. I hesitated. Maybe it's my boyfriend coming back. His face turned as dark as the bottom of a pot. Don't touch me. Chapter 2. Be honest. Don't make a sound. I stuffed Samuel's mouth with a suspender, quickly put on some clothes, and went to open the door. As I opened the door, my breath caught. Andrew, my boyfriend of 5 years. Also the man who was kissing a trainee in a viral video on TikTok today. In the video, Andrew held a cake, carefully lighting candles for the trainee. After the trainee made a wish, he leaned in close to Andrew's lips. My birthday wish is for Andrew to be my boyfriend, can that come true? Under the uproar of the crowd, Andrew smiled and kissed. Recalling this, my heart couldn't help but ache violently. Have you had enough fun? Ignoring calls and not replying to messages? Andrew impatiently looked at me. Is the cake tasty? I asked him with a smile. I broke up with him in a message this afternoon after seeing that video. He only rushed over at midnight. Was he done comforting another person and then remembered me? Just because you ate a bite of cake, you want to break up? Oh, then let me rephrase that. Do you enjoy the saliva of the intern? The air suddenly became quiet. Not wanting to waste time, I directly confronted him with that video. His face turned pale. That situation at the time. Everyone was in high spirits, I didn't want to spoil the mood. Didn't want to spoil the mood, a person with a girlfriend agreeing to be someone else's boyfriend? Lydia, do you really want to break up? What else? We can break up, but can you not tell other colleagues that we were together? Me? I've been in a relationship with Andrew for 5 years, working together for 2 years, a clandestine romance in the company. Did he rush over just for this? Afraid the intern might find out about his cheating? Get lost. He was really sick. I was about to close the door. Just as I was about to close it, a man's voice came from the bedroom. Lydia, I want to take a bath. Both Andrew and I were stunned for a moment. Who's in there? My new boyfriend. I was tough just now, but now I felt weak. Andrew looked extremely embarrassed. Lydia, we broke up for a few seconds, and your new boyfriend is already lying in your bed? Can he fly? You guessed right, he's Spider-Man. Andrew paused for a moment. Wait, why does that voice sound so familiar? Andrew said as he was about to rush into the bedroom. My brain went blank from fear. Samuel is his boss too, so if he recognizes him, it would be bad. I couldn't imagine the explosion of emotions on his face when he saw Samuel tied up on the bed by me. Chapter 3. I rushed to the bedroom door and blocked it with my body. Move aside, do I know that person? I want to see who has the audacity to be the third party. What are you talking about? I blocked him from entering the bedroom. Lydia, and you still say I wasn't cheated on? Then what's this? Andrew's gaze fell on the trash can at the door, where there were 2 torn plastic bags. Can't I play with balloons? I was still being stubborn, but my heart was pounding with anxiety. I was sure I couldn't hold Andrew back, he would definitely beat up Samuel. Just as I was desperately guarding the bedroom door and at a stalemate with Andrew, his phone rang. It was the intern's sister. Andrew, I woke up and found you're not here, where did you go? Andrew lowered his voice. I went out to buy you some noodles. Come back soon. I had never seen such a gentle side of Andrew. Do you want me to say hi to her? This was a threat, breaking the last straw. No need. He glared at me, hung up the phone, and left. Before leaving, he threw down a harsh remark. Lydia, I will definitely find out who this third party is. Watching his retreating figure, my heart was raised high and then brutally dropped. Back on the bed, I curled up, crying uncontrollably. Beside me, Samuel coldly snorted. Wow, what a spectacle. I never thought I'd almost be caught in bed by my own employee and be scolded as the third party. Not really, you're not my real new boyfriend. His face darkened. Then what am I to you? I lifted my head, tears blurred my vision. Can we do it again? Let me take another look. He was shocked to the core. Lydia, you never change. Chapter 4. I was woken up by a dream in the morning. In the dream, that pervert Samuel was still holding a meeting for everyone, asking me if I had done the PPT, and I was scared awake. As I opened my eyes, the dream merged into reality, and I saw Samuel. He was wearing a shirt, leaning on the edge of my bed, working seriously on his laptop. Wait, why was he on my bed? Boss. I was scared stiff. The man, focused on his work, glanced at me and impatiently gestured for me to be quiet with a shush motion. I finally glanced at his computer. There were a few familiar faces on his computer screen, all high-ranking executives of the company. He was having a meeting. I stepped back, feeling a chill in my chest, and instantly covered myself with the blanket. The next second, I rolled off the bed along with the blanket. At the same time, with no blanket to cover him, Samuel's infinite spring scene under his neatly arranged shirt was on full display. I was dead. Samuel was completely speechless. Voices came from the video call. CEO Samuel, what's that sound? CEO Samuel, what's happening on your end? CEO Samuel, are you okay? I felt Samuel wanted to strangle me. The meeting ends here today. I want to see your proposals by 12 o'clock tomorrow. After saying that, Samuel closed the computer. Okay, he's done, and my death sentence has arrived. Luckily, the camera angle of Samuel's meeting only showed his shoulders, otherwise, I would truly be the criminal of the century. Where are the keys? Samuel grabbed a pillow to block himself. Haven't you seen enough last night? I quickly averted my gaze, taking a minute to figure out what was going on. I had a really tough day yesterday. Just after work, I received a cancer diagnosis notification from the hospital, and then found out my boyfriend was cheating on me when I checked my phone. I went to a bar to get drunk, and then my team leader sent me to take care of the drunken boss. When I picked up Samuel, he was vomiting everywhere. I helped him clean up, and he kept urging me to prepare the PPT for the meeting the next day. The evil capitalist. I got cancer because of work, and my boyfriend ran away. I felt like I owed it to my remaining life to do something. He ruined my life, so I took his innocence. I don't remember much about what happened later. All I remember is him advising me not to kiss here or there. Then it ended up like this. What keys? I pretended to be clueless. Samuel glanced at me, then moved his body, revealing the hand that I had handcuffed to the bedpost. Oops. I gasped in shock. Boss, why did you handcuff yourself to the bed? Chapter 5. You really forgot? Yes, I forgot. I pretended. Yes, I forgot everything from how I picked you up yesterday, brought you to my house, and how we ended up under the same blanket. Do you want me to remind you? Which hand did you use to unfasten my belt? No need. I'll figure it out when I have time. Samuel looked at me coldly. Lydia, it's been years, but your habit of pretending amnesia as soon as you put on your pants hasn't changed. Me? This man really loves bringing up the past. Samuel was my childhood neighbor and also my archenemy. He never got along with me since we were kids. I would sleep in class, and he would snitch to the teacher. I wrote love letters, and he would report to my mom. If I did poorly on a test, he would practically want to paste his 100% score on my front door. I've endured so much scolding because of him. He was so arrogant that when he was about to report me to my mom again, I tiptoed and planted a kiss on his cheek. He was so shocked that he dropped his report card. Later, at 3 a.m, he knocked on my door, asking what my kiss meant in the afternoon. I asked him what happened, why couldn't I remember? He left angrily, slamming the door behind him. After the college entrance exam, his family moved abroad, and we lost contact. Who would have thought that 7 years later, he would become the boss of the company? And he immediately started exploiting me. There was some personal grudge mixed in all of this. As I reminisced, I avoided his gaze, my heart racing, my palms sweating. I don't understand what you're saying. The handcuffs are yours, find the key. He frowned in restraint. I need to go to the bathroom. Bathroom? Oh, right, he needed to go to the bathroom this morning. Wait, he didn't even wash up last night. Oh God, what am I even thinking? Okay, I'll help you find it. I rushed into the bathroom to calm myself down, carefully trying to remember where I had placed the key yesterday. As I recalled some scattered fragments, my brain suddenly froze. Last night, Samuel's hand was handcuffed to the bed, and he mumbled to me. Lydia, are you crazy? Unlock it for me. Daydreaming. Then I flushed the key down the toilet. So, where do I go now to find the key? Trembling, I went out to tell Samuel this fact, and he looked extremely embarrassed. I'll call a locksmith. I hurried to make the call. The locksmith said he could only unlock proper locks, not handcuffs. What's improper about handcuffs? After half an hour of fussing, I sat in the room facing Samuel. Did you used to play like this with your boyfriend before? No, this is my first time doing this. Well, your changes over the years are quite astonishing. He snorted. I couldn't even look at him, quietly saying. You're also astonishing. In the end, to avoid being killed by his gaze, I threw a bottle of mineral water and hurriedly ran to the fire station across the street. Chapter 6. Half an hour later, several firefighters surrounded Samuel, using large pliers to cut open the pink handcuff. After it was done, the firefighters lectured both of us. You young people can play around, but can you use these handcuffs casually? I'm sorry, my mistake. I blurted out. You've used them, and you flushed the key down the toilet. That's wasting public resources. I'm sorry, I won't do it again next time. And there will be a next time? In an instant, I sat on a stool, blushing with embarrassment. Samuel remained silent, his face visibly darkening. Samuel frowned. Sorry, next time I'll make sure to keep the key myself, sorry for causing you trouble. The firefighters looked at both of us, hesitated, and finally gave us some more advice before leaving. Once the firefighters left, I knelt down. I'm sorry, I drank too much last night. I'm actually a cancer patient, with an unfulfilled dying wish. So? I cried uncontrollably. Samuel's expression was quite a sight, first shocked, then somewhat speechless. Lydia, you can really come up with all sorts of nonsense just to sleep with me. Have you forgotten, in high school, You lied to me about your cat doing backflips just to touch my abs at your house? Roar. He still remembers that incident. My cat can do backflips anyway, where did I lie to you? Does drawing it on paper count as your cat? Why wouldn't it count? I had nothing to say. I walked him to the elevator, handing him his bag. Take care. He didn't ask any more questions, just glanced at my neck. If you're going out, cover that up. Me? As the elevator door closed, I saw several strawberry marks on my neck. No wonder the firefighters kept staring at my neck strangely earlier, and Samuel had been staring at my neck, hesitating to speak. Why didn't he say something earlier? Samuel just walked away so calmly like that? In the past, according to his style, he wouldn't let me off easy, but today he's acting so strange. He encounters such a situation and still has the spirit to go to work. Compared to his composure, I now feel physically exhausted, mentally drained like an eggplant repeatedly run over by a truck. I started to doubt who was biting whom last night. Chapter 7. After a day of agonizing at home, I finally decided to resign. Instead of being thrown out by Samuel directly, it's better to leave on my own to preserve some last bit of dignity. The next day, I took my resignation letter to the office and saw my colleagues excitedly discussing. I heard Samuel had a fight with Eve's daughter in the office. Why? Why else, didn't you see the news yesterday? That boss playing with handcuffs with a woman and calling firefighters to unlock it made the news. Obviously, those handcuffs weren't the Eve family's wealthy daughters, otherwise how did it escalate to the company? Just as they were speaking, the Eve family's wealthy daughter came out of Samuel's office covering her face, her eyes swollen from crying. When did Samuel get engaged? I stood there quietly minding my own business. She saw me and came straight to me. Lydia, did you see the news yesterday? She asked me. The Eve family's wealthy daughter is named Sophie, the class beauty from my high school. At that time, we had a good relationship, but I didn't get along with Samuel, so she urged me to create a fake account as a beautiful woman to seduce Samuel, then dump him to vent my anger. After chatting for half a year, Samuel got more and more involved, and I was so scared that I immediately deactivated my account. After a period of decadence, Samuel suddenly became radiant one day, saying his online lover had come to see him. Me? I thought he had found out it was me playing him, but he didn't even look for me. At the same time, Sophie started dating. She wouldn't tell me who she was dating, avoiding me for everything. Later, when Samuel went abroad to study, Sophie also quickly went abroad. One day, Sophie posted a photo of the two of them in the class group chat. That's when I found out they were together. But later, I heard from classmates that they broke up shortly after getting together. How come they're engaged now? Really? I acted surprised for a moment. Oh my gosh, this woman actually handcuffed our boss. How despicable. I think Samuel just gave in like that, not even resisting. He's such a scumbag. Sophie looked at me. So you think that too, Lydia? I must break off the engagement with him. Indignantly, I replied. Sure, worthless scumbag. Sophie stared at me with her innocent eyes. Why aren't you advising me? There's no one better around me than him. Huh? Then don't break it off? It's a mistake all men make, wash up and he'll be good as new. He treated me like that, will he change? Forget it, you just don't understand. I was speechless. Did she want me to advise reconciliation or separation? Just then, the team leader walked over and tapped my desk. Lydia, I remember I sent you to pick up the boss yesterday. Sophie stopped crying instantly, looking at me in shock. Chapter 8. Lydia, that girl from that night couldn't have been you, right? Sophie smiled at me. I struggled to breathe. How could it be? Before I could finish, Sophie cut in. How could it be? Lydia, you wouldn't compete with me for a man, right? I looked at her insincere smile and managed to force out a word, no. Satisfied with my response, Sophie left. After she left, the team leader leaned in. I think I just stumbled upon a tremendous secret. What is it? He smirked mysteriously at me, then went back to work without saying a word. Sitting at my desk, I wiped my sweat discreetly. I stayed in the office until everyone left, then cautiously went to Samuel's office with my resignation letter. He's on the phone, gesturing for me to wait. Suddenly, there was a loud voice on the phone, shouting Samuel's name, and even I could hear it. If you don't bring your daughter-in-law back today, don't bother coming back. It was his grandfather. I stood awkwardly on the side, startled. Hang up, you scared her. He said as he hung up the phone and then looked at me. My grandfather, scolding me. I'm sorry, I didn't know that incident would be photographed and posted online. It caused you and Sophie to call off the engagement. Anyway, I deserve to die 1,000 deaths. I handed him my resignation letter and he glanced at it. What did Sophie say to you? She still doesn't know it's me, please don't tell her, I'm begging you. He looked at me. You're afraid of her but not of me? Not really, I swear I didn't know you were dating her. We're not. Huh? Finally, he sighed. The engagement is none of your business. First, finish the project you're in charge of. What do you mean, you're not letting me resign? What, you want to quit halfway through the project because of a small matter? Are you this irresponsible with people and tasks? Small matter. I scrutinized him carefully, unable to help but admire. I had caused him so much trouble, yet he was still willing to bear it and let me finish the project? Indeed, work was his top priority. No, my current physical condition may not be suitable for overtime. Still feeling unwell? A bit. He hesitated. Shouldn't you see a gynecologist for that kind of thing? I was full of question marks. What does my cancer have to do with gynecology? So, Lydia, you never listen to me, it's all your impatience, whose fault is it? I was utterly confused. Samuel glanced at me. You should go back to work. You really won't pursue that night's incident? What about your grandfather's side? The more he didn't take action, the more I felt empty. What can I do? If he wants me to bring my daughter-in-law back, he also has to consider her willingness. Can't you just coax her? Sophie doesn't seem like she wants to break up at all. Samuel remained silent but kept looking at me. No, why is he looking at me? Do you want me to tie her up for you? I really can't do this, at least not when I'm sober. Get out. He suddenly got angry. Fine. Chapter 9. The next day, Sophie messaged me again asking what Samuel was up to, wanting me to report his whereabouts. I haven't been in contact with Sophie for these 7 years. In the past, she was friendly with me because Samuel was my neighbor. Now, since Samuel is my boss, she has started reaching out to me again. Especially after finding out about my recent breakup, she suddenly started showing off her affection in front of me. Samuel is so clingy, he demands a goodnight message from me every night. If he doesn't get my message at night, he won't sleep all night. She sent me several screenshots of their QQ chats. The screenshots had her own profile picture cropped out, leaving only Samuel's. Looking at those sickeningly sweet conversations, I felt a bit uneasy. The cold and ruthless Samuel unexpectedly had this side of loving someone so much. Suddenly noticing the chat dates, I asked her. So, you were dating him in high school? How did I not know about this? Wasn't Samuel still in an online relationship with my fake account back then? You got it wrong, it was during college. She retracted the chat screenshots. Suddenly, I remembered something and asked her. Sophie, do you remember in high school, I had that fake account to tease Samuel, and you helped me deactivate it? It's deactivated. But later, he said he found the person he was in an online relationship with, and he didn't come to me. Lydia, why bring that up suddenly? You don't even like him, why do you care so much? Also, Samuel told me he had already forgotten about that incident. She was right. I didn't like Samuel in high school, so why did I care so much about him finding his online love interest later? Samuel had already forgotten about it. but my chest still felt tight. As I raised my head, I saw Andrew. I used to feel happy every time I saw him before, but now I just felt annoyed. He was standing at the office door. I didn't dump him. When he passed by my office for the third time, he stopped me in the pantry. Lydia. Let it out if you have something to say. I saw you talking to your team leader just now, was that the third party? No. He paused for a moment. Was it the security guard on the first floor? I saw him smiling at you this morning. Andrew, are you crazy? The crazy one is you. Are you so desperate that you can go for any shady man? He successfully provoked me. I directly spilled coffee on him. It happened suddenly, and several colleagues gathered around, trying to figure out what was going on. He used to say not to talk to him in the company, so every time we passed by each other, we pretended to be strangers to avoid suspicion. But now, I didn't care. As Andrew wiped his clothes with tissues, he smiled and said, it's okay, she slipped and accidentally spilled coffee on me. Your hand didn't get burned, did it? He insincerely asked me. If we talk about acting, I'm really no match for him. What kind of man I bring home, what does it have to do with you, Captain Andrew? Do you need to come and embarrass me? I replied bluntly. Isn't he the one most afraid of our relationship being known? I'm practically dying, and I'm not afraid of anything. Colleagues gasped and looked at me and Andrew. Andrew turned pale. I don't know when Samuel arrived. He appeared in the pantry holding a cup, stunning everyone. Isn't it the secretary's job to handle his tea? Does he really need to come personally? President Samuel, are you here to get water too? Andrew's expression changed in a second, smiling and greeting Samuel. Samuel glanced at me, then at Andrew. Who are you? Andrew was a bit embarrassed by this question. President Samuel, I'm Andrew from the information department. I've heard about you. Samuel interrupted him directly. Oh. If I remember correctly, isn't the information department downstairs? What are you doing running up here during work hours? Although Samuel said this without any expression, everyone was sweating for Andrew. President Samuel, I came up to get water. Aren't the 5 water stations downstairs enough for you to use? Andrew's face turned pale in an instant, not daring to retort. How does your team leader manage the staff? As Samuel spoke, a senior executive added. He is the team leader. Samuel chuckled lightly. Harassing female colleagues during work hours seems like just about anyone can become a team leader these days. The executive turned dark with fear. Get back to your post and write a self-criticism. Your bonus for this month is gone. Andrew slinked away disheartened. Then Samuel glanced at me. You come to my office too. He was so fierce that colleagues were praying for me, expecting me to get scolded. But as soon as we reached his office, he lowered his voice. Did your hand get burned? No. My voice was muffled. Is he the one caught cheating that night? Yes. You've been fond of such a person all these years? Why is he angry again now? Or do you prefer your beloved? Your chat records are quite sweet. I retorted back at him. He was stunned in place. What chat records? Ask your dear Sophie at home. Yes, he called her dear in QQ. Chapter 10. Sophie still sends me messages every day showing affection. I set it to silent directly. I entered a one-sided cold war with Samuel. I remained silent. When getting water in the pantry and seeing him approaching, I didn't even bother with the cup, just threw it away and walked off. During meetings, if he sat beside me, I immediately stood up and moved to the other side, keeping a distance. These past 2 days, I haven't said a word. The team leader rushed over with a pile of documents, asking me, what's going on between you and the boss? Does he owe you money? No. Then why don't you go to his office? How could I dare? I have no reason to go to his office for anything. The team leader grumbled. If you don't go, he asks me about you 800 times a day, each time asking what you're doing. I was shocked. Luckily I'm clever, I told him you were too busy being in love to pay him any attention, it annoyed him to death, you should thank me. My jaw dropped in surprise. Thank you. Samuel really doesn't care if I'm dating or not. He has someone he calls a baby. In the afternoon, I opened a file signed by Samuel, and inside was a note. Why are you ignoring me? In Samuel's handwriting. I quickly crumpled it up, feeling a mix of emotions in an instant. I was uncomfortable. Back in high school, Samuel used to call me baby a lot on QQ. Such a cold person, yet he used such a sweet term, calling me baby all the time, to the point where I dreamt of him at night. I used to think that was his special term for me, but turns out he called any girl that. What a scumbag. Thinking this, I threw the note in the trash. I swear, I will never pay attention to that jerk again. My mood was already bad, and then things got even worse. Andrew's intern sister was coming to learn from me for a week. Her name is Chloe. Just turned 21, fair skin, smiles that light up her whole face. Ever since she arrived, our entire office has been much livelier. No wonder Andrew fell for her. Even I, a girl, am starting to like her. Because she was interning with me, Andrew cornered me in the parking lot. You didn't tell her about us, right? Andrew, aren't you all about being open and honest? Why do you act so shady every day? Lydia, without her, we would have broken up anyway. He paused. My mom doesn't approve of me marrying someone without local household registration. Me? So, we've been dating for 5 years, and you never brought me home to meet your parents for this reason? Andrew has met my mom, but every time I mentioned going to his house, he made various excuses. I eventually stopped bringing it up, never thought it was for this reason. Absurd. Not just that. He sighed. My mom says single-parent families have too extreme personalities, she doesn't like it. If it's about household registration, fine, I accept it. I'm not worthy of their noble local status, right? But to use my single-parent family as a reason, doesn't he know my dad passed away a long time ago? For him to bring up my scar to distance himself really hurt. At that moment, I really didn't know what the meaning of these 5 years was, I felt like a fool. Andrew, everything has to please your mom, am I marrying your mom? I bitterly laughed. Thank you for not marrying me, going over there to face you all day, I'd rather be dead. I left without looking back after saying that. As I walked ahead, a Rolls-Royce stopped in front of me. Get in. It was Samuel. No need. I saw Andrew standing not far away, didn't want to bring any trouble to Samuel because of that. Plus, I was in a mess right now, didn't want Samuel to see me in such a pitiful state. Samuel looked at Andrew, then at me. Avoiding me, just to reconcile with him? Me? His mood turned low. Lydia, why do you always play people around like this? When did I play you? Then what am I? Your toy when you're heartbroken, to be discarded after using? I found it a bit absurd. That night, we were both adults taking what we needed, can't we just pretend like nothing happened? Samuel looked at me, fierce and cold. I'll ask again, choose him or get in the car with me? I felt absolutely terrible. Now, I was speechless again. I chose no one, walked straight ahead. Chapter 11. In the middle of the night, Samuel showed up. Dragging 2 large suitcases. What are you here for? Isn't it obvious? I got kicked out by my grandpa. And then? Shouldn't you take some responsibility? Samuel barged into my rental apartment without waiting for an invitation. I was a bit annoyed. We had just argued in the afternoon. My anger hadn't subsided, how could he come over on his own and even want to stay? Wait. How long are you going to stay? Samuel dropped his luggage in the living room, then sat on the couch. To tell you the truth? I have no idea. I only have one room here, where will you sleep? He was really shameless. Actually, when we were kids, Samuel used to sleep over at my house a lot. His parents were on a business trip, so he curled up on my sofa and made do for the night. I asked him why he didn't sleep at his own home, and he said he was afraid of the dark. It's one thing to be afraid of the dark as a child, but in high school, he's still afraid of the dark? I once yelled at him. Samuel, I've never seen anyone with such thick skin like you. Why do you stay at my house every day? Your mom agreed to it. She agreed, but I didn't. What if a classmate sees you coming out of my house? What am I supposed to do? Which classmate? The one you write love letters to? Yes. Damn. The next day, he accused me of having an early romance, this mongrel. The bond between him and me was deeper than an ancient well. That night, after getting drunk, I really thought about how he had exploited me from childhood to adulthood, and how becoming my boss made it even worse. I couldn't take it anymore and exploded. Originally, I just wanted to scare him. I don't know how it escalated into me touching him inappropriately. But he hadn't seen me for so many years, and his body had become so good. On this matter, you shouldn't ask me, you caused the trouble, you deal with the consequences. Samuel's words brought me back to reality. He was back again, wanting to stay here again. What's the difference between now and when we were in school? Then sleep in the bedroom, sleep with me. I said with a smile. I didn't believe I couldn't fix him. How can two people sleep on one bed? He seemed puzzled. Why can't two people sleep on one bed? Let me show you some examples online, like this, or this. I showed him on my phone. As he looked at the various positions in the pictures, his expression turned more and more unpleasant. Lydia, where did you learn all this? I learned from the adult comic books you hid under your bed in high school. Samuel was always the golden child in other people's eyes. If he scored 100 on a test, I would get scolded by my family. But who would have thought that such a good student like him would secretly read adult comics? You. Have you peeked at mine? Samuel looked at me in surprise. Yes. Are you even a girl? Samuel was a bit angry. He grabbed his clothes and went to take a shower. His phone kept ringing outside. I glanced at it. It's Sophie calling. Help me answer this call. Me? This is not good. You know him anyway, what's the harm? I understood now, these two are arguing, he comes running to me, and then he wants me to answer for him? Such malicious intentions. I'm not stupid, I just put his phone on silent directly. And then Sophie arrived. Lydia, Samuel doesn't want me anymore. Tears streamed down her face as she buried herself in my arms. I didn't even know how she found my address, and how she managed to rush to my house in just a few minutes. I blocked her, not letting her inside the house, barely able to catch my breath. I was about to sleep. Did you guys have a fight? I came up with a terrible excuse. But Lydia, I only have you now. Samuel isn't answering my calls or messages. She stopped mid-sentence when she heard the sound of the shower running from the bathroom. Is there someone in your house? Chapter 12. Yeah. So? It's not very convenient. I was genuinely shocked. This Samuel did it on purpose. Are you back together with Andrew? What could I say? If I said no, she would definitely go back to see who was in my house. So, I reluctantly nodded. Anyway, Sophie doesn't work at our company, so she can't really gossip. Sophie finally let her guard down but couldn't help peeking inside. Don't worry, you don't have to feel awkward. Samuel and I have broken up and gotten back together several times, it's pretty normal. She tried to comfort me. Yeah, that's true. I wished she would just leave right now. I had no idea when Samuel would be done showering. If he came out, it would be awkward. Just as Sophie was about to leave. Lydia, can I use your phone to call Samuel? My phone is dead. I was shocked. If that call went through and Samuel's phone rang in my room, it would be over. I don't have his number, and my phone is overdue. You can still make calls with an overdue phone. Sophie snatched my phone and quickly dialed Samuel's number. I was done for. The most crucial thing is, not only did the call go through, but he picked up. I'm dead. Why are you in a hurry while I'm in the shower? Samuel's voice on the phone was deep and magnetic. Sophie froze in place. I'm Sophie. His tone on the other end instantly turned cold. Sophie, if you keep disturbing others like this, I will have to block you. Give her the phone. Sophie widened her eyes, feeling embarrassed. She handed me the phone back. Lydia, he's only like this with me when we argue. He used to be really nice to me. Oh, what's the point in proving your relationship to me? It's really unnecessary. When a man can't even say he doesn't like you anymore, she's still so paranoid. I have no idea what happened between those two. But in my opinion, it's not worth it. Suddenly Sophie shouted at me. Who are you to judge me and Samuel? You and Andrew are a mess. He slept with other women, and you still want him. We are much happier than you guys. She finished and stormed off. Me? Chapter 13. I went back inside, and Samuel had just finished showering and come out. He was wearing a long-sleeved t-shirt and pants? Is he trying to protect himself? Samuel, Sophie might have found out that you live here. I cut to the chase. He spared me. So what if she did? So what if she did? He's not afraid at all. You have a fight with her, then run to my place. You're putting me in a tough spot. I've done things much worse to me, so I want to ask you, what are you afraid of? All right, it seems like Samuel won't move out no matter what he says now. I need to change my strategy. Samuel, you're so stingy. We've known each other for so many years, and you won't even show me your abs. I said, getting closer to him. Stop with the nonsense in your head, I have important things to do. After saying that, he took his phone and went to the balcony to take the call. I sat on the couch, snacking on sunflower seeds, occasionally glancing at him. Suddenly, I saw something fluttering in the wind in front of him on the balcony. Upon closer inspection, it was horrifying. My underwear. The most crucial part was the pink Hello Kitty one. If it was the black lace one hanging there, I wouldn't be in such a rush. I rushed out with one step, just about to reach up and grab it. Because I'm short, I couldn't reach it, but Samuel, who was on the phone, saw it and casually pulled it down. When he realized what he was holding in his hand, he stopped. Give it to me. I reached out to grab it. But he held it up high. So are you planning to wear this tonight and share a room with me? He was clearly mocking me. How is that possible? I have plenty of sexy ones. I tried to keep a straight face. It's actually quite cute, the small size suits you. You're the cute one here. I ran off with the item in hand. That night, I dug out several sets of lace pajamas from the bottom of the box, tried them on in front of the mirror over and over again, ready to confront him. But when I went out, he didn't even spare me a glance. Aren't you supposed to be sleeping in my room? Scared now? Lydia, do you think I would fall for your tricks again? You seduced me in high school once, and then deceived me a few days ago. If you try to seduce me tonight, I'll deserve it. When did I seduce you in high school? Samuel stared at me for a while. Figure it out for yourself. Standing in front of him, I felt like I was the spider spirit just out of the spider cave, and Samuel was the monk, devoid of any hint of lust. After a while, he asked me. Why did you leave the class QQ group later? I knew what he was referring to. I left the group after Sophie posted 2 photos of you together. I can't stand others showing off their affection. Who? He was still pretending not to know? You and your precious Sophie, both of you cuddling together like Siamese twins. Samuel stood there in shock. When did I post that? She posted it. So you blocked me on QQ just because of this? Yes. Yes, so what? Samuel found his online love interest. He went abroad, Sophie went too, and the two of them started a happy life overseas. I'm just petty, can't stand others doing well. Seeing others doing better than me makes me defensive. After deleting Samuel that night, I went to a school social event and met Andrew. Samuel stayed silent for a while, then summed it up with one sentence. Are you jealous? Chapter 14. The next day, I woke up with dark circles under my eyes and found breakfast on the table. And Samuel was still there. Such severe dark circles, did you have trouble sleeping? Because of me? He asked me with a smile. How is that possible? I was just staying up late playing on my phone. Really? Come have breakfast. You made this? You can cook too? I walked over awkwardly. I couldn't sleep last night, indeed because of him. Because of that, are you jealous? I couldn't sleep all night. How could I be jealous of him? I hate him the most. But I just couldn't fall asleep, and now I feel awkward seeing him. Strange. During the time we lived together in high school, wasn't it me who made breakfast every day? Huh? You made it, not my mom? Samuel was speechless. When we left for school, your mom was still asleep. Is my mom that lazy? Indeed, it's genetic. I found the reason for my laziness, not my fault. I ate breakfast for a while, staring at Samuel for a few moments. Samuel, aren't you going to work? It's already 10 o'clock. Normally, even if I was 5 minutes late, he would make me write a self-criticism. I just have a few online meetings today, not going out. I also didn't sleep well last night. Why didn't you sleep well? At night, there was a ghost haunting me, a female ghost. I was full of question marks. What era is this? Don't believe in science? But, with you here, I feel like I'm not on vacation, still working. I was supposed to have taken the day off today. I was lounging in the room, watching TV and playing on my phone with my legs crossed, and when I looked up and saw Samuel, I really felt that fear of being caught by the boss playing on my phone at work. It took a few seconds to react, to recall that I was on vacation. Suffocating. You're scared of me during the day like this? More than just scared, it's like having a shadow looming over me. Wait, what does it mean to be scared of him during the day, scared of him at night too? Chapter 15. The next day, going to work. Chloe was chatting with everyone, and I found out she's actually from a wealthy family. Her cousin is a big company boss. She said all she needs to do is intern well, and they'll buy her a car. She's cheerful and innocent. Andrew probably fell for her family background. It's really unlucky for a girl like her to end up with Andrew. But the real unlucky one turned out to be me. In the afternoon, I had just returned from the bathroom when I heard that Chloe and Andrew were arguing. It was a fierce argument, and they even talked about breaking up. Lydia, Andrew lied to me. He has an ex-girlfriend, and he got back together with her. Chloe complained to me. What's going on? Who told you that? Eve's sister told me. The girl leaned into my arms, crying uncontrollably. Which Eve's sister? How come I, as the girlfriend involved, didn't know about this? Sophie. I couldn't understand why Sophie went to talk to Chloe, but I was really torn apart. Before I could find Sophie, Andrew came over. Lydia, what do you mean? You were the one who wanted to break up first, and now you don't want to break up? It's a misunderstanding. I have no intention of getting back together with you, not now, not ever. I couldn't even explain myself now, let alone that I was actually in the wrong. I told a lie, and now I would have to tell countless more lies. I hate it when you act like this. If you admitted you loved me, tried to keep me, I would even stand up to my mom to marry you, but you never will. You just can't stand to see others doing better than you, so you resort to underhanded tactics. You've never truly loved anyone. You told me before you liked a guy, liked him for years, but never dared to tell anyone. You're like a hamster hiding in a corner watching others be happy, feeling miserable. You deserve not to be loved. I even doubt those few years we had. What was I to you? Was the person you loved just a transitional tool during your painful period? I couldn't understand why he suddenly broke down. Yes, yes, I never liked you, satisfied now? I didn't want to argue with him anymore. 5 years of love, made to sound so despicable by him. I did like Samuel, memories of the deceased suddenly flooding back. I was what he described, seeing Samuel happy, feeling unbearably miserable. Congratulations were said on the surface, but behind his back, I distanced myself, blocked Samuel. Playing these kinds of underhanded tricks. I turned around and walked away. On my way back, I didn't take the car, I walked back. Unfortunately, even the heavens couldn't bear it and it started pouring rain. Before I could even reminisce about my youthful crush at 17, I was drenched like a drowned rat. Chapter 16. What's wrong? Samuel was startled by my appearance. I forced a smile. Samuel, how long do you plan to stay? Your grandpa is still angry, right? No. He said if I don't bring a girlfriend back, he'll scatter my ashes at sea. Why don't you rent a house to stay in? You have so much money. If it's free, why pay? Why should I spend money? I was speechless. I don't know if it was because of the rain, but I erupted completely, grabbing his laptop directly. Samuel, you're just clinging to me, aren't you? All right, I'll let you stay in the house, can you pay some rent? I straddled his lap directly, hugged his neck, and leaned down to kiss him. He was surprised by my actions, and didn't push me away for a moment. But of course, I didn't kiss him, just stopped a centimeter away from him. I was just scaring him. Get down. He turned his face away, looking a bit unnatural. I won't. Samuel lowered his eyes and locked gazes with me. His eyelashes were long, his lips were so red. Damn, how come I never noticed how good-looking he was before? If I had noticed before, I wouldn't have argued with him since childhood. After a few seconds of eye contact, my heartbeat started to accelerate. I couldn't help but swallow hard. For a moment, the ambiguous atmosphere spread in the air. Samuel, can I kiss you? I asked him softly. He didn't speak, his Adam's apple rolled, and the next second, he grabbed my head and kissed me passionately. His kiss was fierce, I was kissed by him so much that I lost my bearings. Until I couldn't catch my breath, he let go of me. Dare to try again? He asked hoarsely. Teasing me so many times, you really think I wouldn't dare to do anything to you? Before I could respond, I suddenly felt a change in a certain part of him. When I realized what it was, I quickly got off his lap. No. I won't dare. I ran away. Escaped back to the room. Thinking about the scene just now, my face is still blushing and my heart is racing. He knocked on my door. Open the door. I won't open it, you pervert. Your phone isn't with you, there's a call. I opened the door for him, and he politely took a step back. That's a normal physiological reaction, it has nothing to do with me being a pervert. He explained. Stop talking. Go to bed early. He glanced at me and went back to the living room. I closed the door and lay on the bed tossing and turning. Must have been too scared, I actually dreamed about him at night. Chapter 17. In the dream, I drooled while lying on his abs. Samuel, I'm dying of cancer, can't you let me touch it? Let me touch it, I can't die in peace without touching those 8-pack abs. Huh, your abs seem to be more than 8 pieces. I forced Samuel into a corner. Don't move around. I felt like I had a fever, and I was delirious, starting to act crazy with him. Okay, if you say you like me, I won't act crazy. He stayed silent for a long time before saying. Lydia, are you trying to play me again? I like you the most, how could I be playing you? He held my restless hand. You dated me on QQ in high school for a year, and as soon as you found out I was fooled, you dumped me? A year? Wasn't it 6 months? What 6 months? Who were you chatting with after that? I was stunned for a moment, suddenly remembering the chat screenshot thing Sophie sent. I had a complete awakening. Sophie didn't cancel my account at all, instead, she was chatting with Samuel using my account? Seeing me silent, Samuel continued. Still want to deny it? You act so well, but you still love using emojis so much. Did you really think I wouldn't recognize it was you? Let me touch it, and I'll admit it. Damn it, Sophie, I'll settle the score with her when I wake up. With those words, both of us ended up under the sofa, my waist almost breaking. Although sometimes I really dislike Samuel, I still want to sleep with him. This thought is truly terrifying. At 3 in the morning, I was awakened by a dream. Upon waking up, I realized my period had arrived. Due to long hours and late nights at work, my menstrual cycle had been irregular, so this was the first time it came on time. Did dreaming about Samuel help regulate my period? Most importantly, I discovered that Sophie had deceived me, but it turned out to be a dream. Was it really true? As I was about to get out of bed, I realized my back was in excruciating pain. I limped my way to the bathroom. Samuel wasn't in the living room, he was actually taking a shower in the bathroom? Taking a shower at 3 in the morning, does he have some kind of cleanliness obsession? Having lost too much blood, along with catching a fever from being in the rain, I felt like I had lost half of my life. I'll carry you over, he said, then bent down, picked me up, and walked straight to the room. Samuel, what are you doing? I nervously grabbed his bathrobe. He glanced at me. With you like this, what else can I do? I'm not an animal. Samuel laid me on the bed, made me some brown sugar water, and kept using hot water to apply heat to my stomach. Busy until morning, just before dawn, I realized he was sitting by my bed, still not sleeping. Do you want to lie down? I reached for his hand. Lydia, do you really have cancer? He suddenly asked me. Yeah. Why are you only telling me now? I told you a long time ago, didn't I? I thought you were lying to me. He held my hand, his mood somewhat low. Let's go to the hospital tomorrow. Why did he suddenly bring up my cancer? The doctor actually asked me to come back for another checkup within a week, but I hadn't gone yet. Recent consecutive events made me feel like escaping. Why are your hands so cold? Samuel squeezed my hand, then finally held my hand and placed it on his stomach. What is he doing? How did you know I dreamed about you? He pulled me into his arms. Is it possible that it wasn't a dream, but sleepwalking? I was dumbfounded. Samuel said I sleepwalk every night and bother him. In the end, he always carried me back to my room. I vehemently denied it. How could such a humiliating thing possibly be me? He said I was sleepwalking, which means Sophie really did deceive me, it wasn't a dream. I immediately told Samuel about the QQ account incident, which made him very angry. Playing me for fun? Shouldn't you say something to me about this? What should I say? I was dumbfounded. Say that you also liked me, back in high school. I was completely shocked. Too intense. Not saying it, huh? Just consider it as you admitting it. He pinched my face, then leaned in for a kiss. Me too, I liked you a long time ago, even before you did. Chapter 18. The next day, I slept until 10 in the morning. I was awakened by my mom's phone call. My mom said she had come from our hometown to see me, and wanted to give me a surprise. Where are you? I'm at your doorstep, why aren't you opening the door, still sleeping? I jolted awake and saw Samuel lying next to me, looking startled. Samuel, wake up, my mom's here. Samuel, not fully awake yet, was shoved into the closet along with his clothes by me. Don't make a sound, I'll get my mom to leave quickly. After opening the door, I found out what surprise my mom had for me. This is Aunt Lou, the mother of that stinky kid you used to fight with every day when you were little. Samuel's mom. My mom's old best friend. Hello, Auntie. Samuel's mom looked at me, smiling. It's been years, Lydia has grown so beautiful. My mom brought her in, they chatted endlessly while eating. I glanced in the direction of the closet, feeling a bit hopeless. I tugged at my mom's clothes. Why did you come here? I heard you broke up with that stinky kid, Andrew. How could I not come after so many years? If he bullied you, I'll tear him apart. My mom had a fighting spirit. You broke up? Samuel's mom suddenly got excited. Our Samuel is the same. I introduced so many girls to him, but he didn't even look. Recently, I introduced him to that Eve girl from a wealthy family. He rejected her without even meeting her. Samuel's mom sighed. He's been studying abroad without a girlfriend. I'm starting to suspect if he likes men. My heart skipped a beat. Of course he doesn't like men. I reassured Samuel's mom. It's probably not the case. But when my mom heard likes men, she got excited. What do you mean, not the case? Remember that news about his pink bracelet? Which straight guy wears a pink bracelet? I couldn't argue. My pink bracelet was indeed a gift from my gay friend in college, and I received it after breaking up with my boyfriend. Samuel's mom sighed. If he brings a guy home, we'll accept it. People abroad can even get married. At that moment, the closet door burst open. In an instant, all three of us looked towards the closet. Samuel was inside, bending over, still wearing that bathrobe. Son, why are you hiding there? Samuel, why are you hiding there? I was shocked. Mom. Let me explain. I quickly intervened, blocking both moms. If I say he's homeless and I temporarily took him in for the night, would you believe me? My mom glanced at me. I told you last time, that news about the handcuffs, the background of the bed looked so familiar. Wasn't it your room? That girl from last time was you? Oh no. My mom was really trying to embarrass me. Don't ask her. It's not her business, it's just my one-sided liking. Samuel quickly put on his shirt and walked over. Auntie, let me explain to you later. After speaking, Samuel politely bowed to my mom, then escorted his mom out the door. Once they left, my mom let out a big sigh. So, Andrew broke up with you because you cheated on him? He cheated on me. I had told my mom about the breakup, but felt embarrassed, so I didn't tell her the real reason, just that our personalities didn't match. Now, I didn't want to hide it from her anymore, so I laid it all out for her. Also, Mom, I might be dying. I have cancer. My mom's face turned white. What nonsense are you talking about? You better not die before me. You should be buying me a sports car. I looked at her and pouted. It might be too late for that now. It's not possible, absolutely not possible. Don't be afraid, Mom will first go deal with that scumbag, then go see what's going on with that doctor and the diagnosis. How could a good person like you have cancer? What does it have to do with the doctor? It's a misdiagnosis, definitely a misdiagnosis. Although my mom sounded confident, I could see her hands shaking. She was still scared. Chapter 19. My mom took me to the hospital for a checkup. When we passed by our company, she said she had something to do and asked me to wait for her for 10 minutes. After a few minutes of waiting, feeling uneasy, I went upstairs and saw a crowd gathered. Andrew, upon seeing my mom, looked a bit afraid. Auntie, are you looking for Lydia? I'm looking for you. I heard you cheated on your intern and got together with her? As soon as these words came out, all the colleagues looked at Andrew in surprise. He felt his face go pale and quickly grabbed my mom. Auntie, let's talk outside. Why, do you also feel embarrassed? If you feel embarrassed, why did you cheat? Auntie. Andrew was angry. This is not the place for you to behave recklessly. He tried to use his authority to intimidate my mom. Slap. My mom slapped him across the face. Get lost. Andrew was left dumbfounded. Just then, Chloe ran over too. Auntie, why are you hitting people? Why, he lied to my daughter for 5 years and cheated, can't I hit him? Chloe glanced at Andrew, then at me. No, Auntie, I think you're being too gentle. Slap. Chloe also slapped him. Andrew's face turned red instantly. I hid in the crowd, shocked by their actions. If you don't leave, I'll call security. Andrew came over to pull my mom. Don't touch me, I have high blood pressure, heart disease, even a light touch and I'll collapse on the ground. Everyone burst into laughter. My mom threw those words and left without looking back. Andrew stood there, his lips turning white with anger. On the way to the hospital, my mom was still fuming. Lydia, why not consider Samuel? He's tall and handsome, isn't he better looking than that guy? I have cancer, how can I consider that? Don't jinx it, absolutely not possible. My mom paused for a moment and then said. Don't think I don't know, that boy Samuel has liked you since he was little, always hanging around our house, making breakfast for you. Whenever you were in a relationship, he'd tattle on you, such a jealous kid. Me? You know he makes breakfast, so when you're awake, you don't make any? I know, I can hang around, can't stand seeing you young people in love and being all lovey-dovey. I fell silent. Does Samuel like me? How did I not know this before? Why does he like me but opposes me in everything? You have to ask your dad about that. Your dad was like that back then too. But me, your mom, I found out too late. Your dad died in a car accident, and only then did I find the letters he wrote to me before. If I had known your dad would die so soon, I wouldn't have argued with him. Tears brimmed in the corners of my mom's eyes as she spoke. I don't have much memory of my dad, I just know he was my mom's classmate, got married to her, and then I came along. My mom was quite stubborn, always arguing with my dad. On Valentine's Day when I was 5, my dad forgot to buy flowers for my mom because of work, and she argued with him again. He ran out and got into the car accident. They said that when he died, there were roses on the car, the ones my mom loved. My mom lived freely for so many years, never remarried. I always thought she was carefree, never realizing she could never let go. What would she do if I died too? You're not allowed to die, can't end up like your dad, dying before me. Got it. It was as if my mom could read minds, she even made me swear. Okay. Not just okay, pull yourself together. Okay. Chapter 19. In the end, the doctor said I had thyroid cancer. Just need a small surgery, no problem. I won't die. Who told you that you'd die? Why didn't you say it earlier? You scared me, I thought she was about to die. My mom grabbed the doctor's coat and shook him. My fault. When I received the call about having cancer, I was so shocked that my mind went blank, I didn't really hear what was said, and just hung up. Because I couldn't accept it, I kept delaying, afraid to go to the hospital. If I had known it was just a small surgery, I wouldn't have wasted these past 10 days being a lively and cheerful girl. My mom went to the restroom and came back with red eyes. I knew she had cried. Sorry for scaring you, Mom. Is saying sorry any use? Hurry up and buy me a sports car. After the examination, Samuel's call came in. Is it serious? It's okay, I'm here. How do I explain that I kept talking about dying because I didn't hear clearly? It's actually not too serious. I've talked to HR, you can take sick leave with pay, don't need to come to work, and your projects will be handed over to someone else. I have a villa near the company, clean it up today and move in. I've arranged for a chef to take care of your daily meals. There's also a driver assigned to you for whenever you need to go for treatment. No work, a chef, a driver, what a good life. Has he been busy with all this today? Samuel, it's actually not that serious, just a small cancer. Let's talk tonight, I'm in a meeting. Oh. He's so good to you? But tell him, I've passed this level, he hasn't. My mom looked at me. Mom, he asked me to move into his villa. What, a big villa? My mom took a deep breath. Then you tell him I've passed this level. In the afternoon, Samuel arranged for people to help me move. His mom volunteered. I was still hesitating. In the end, my mom and Samuel's mom were more proactive than anyone else, and in a few minutes, they had others move everything. I was utterly dumbfounded. Samuel's mom smiled at my mom and said, From now on, Lydia will live with Samuel, and I'm sure Samuel will take good care of her. But behind my mom's back, she whispered to her. Don't worry, if Samuel doesn't succeed with Lydia this time, I'll break his legs. Are you that harsh on your son? This is his last chance. I was shocked once again. Chapter 20. In the evening, Samuel came back and cooked for me. Don't we have a cook? Just wanted to cook for you. I wanted to help with the vegetables, but he didn't let me. After dinner, he didn't let me wash the dishes either. I sat on the sofa watching TV, decided to have a good talk with him, but he brought a basin of water, squatted in front of me, and put my feet in. This treatment, I wouldn't dare to dream of it even in my dreams. Not only that. After Samuel finished showering, he didn't even put on a bathrobe, just wrapped in a towel. The steamy, freshly showered abs made my eyes blur. Are your hands still cold? Samuel asked me. I wanted to say that I wasn't cold, but looking at him made me swallow my words. Cold. Sure enough, the next second, he held my hand and placed it on his abs. How about now? My face turned red. Feeling better. I declare that, from now on, this male bodhisattva can only dress like this at home. After a while, I asked him. Samuel, are you treating me like this because I have cancer? Otherwise, I really couldn't understand how his attitude had changed so dramatically. Just a while ago in the office, he could scold me without a care. Now, he's cooking, washing my feet, and even letting me touch his abs. My goodness, I finally understand what it feels like to be a rich woman hiring a male model. I used to live such a plain and simple life. That's also one of the reasons. Just because I have cancer. Can I touch your Adam's apple again? I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but I didn't dare. You can. Aren't you not supposed to touch a guy's Adam's apple? Is that okay? Can I watch you shower? I asked directly. Samuel? I'm just kidding. I retracted my statement in a second. Samuel looked at me. Is all this stuff you have in your head not helpful for your treatment? The doctor said it's useful. It's good for blood circulation. Samuel looked at me, and as I leaned in for a kiss, he blocked my mouth. It's not that you can't, but I have a condition. What condition? The atmosphere has reached this point, whatever he says, I can't refuse. Be my girlfriend. Do I have to agree to kiss you? Samuel's face darkened. Otherwise, are you messing with me? If I agree, I agree. Why are you so fierce? He's so handsome, every time I see him, he mesmerizes me. What reason do I have not to agree? Finally, Samuel lowered his head and kissed me to his satisfaction. We were kissing passionately, but suddenly, I tasted his tears, salty. You're crying. I was dumbfounded. I shouldn't have let you work overtime. I came back just to find you. He hugged me. Wait, you came back from abroad to find me? Yes, I like you. I've liked you for a long time. So, the night I tied you to the bedpost, were you pretending to? Samuel gave me an annoyed look. If I wasn't willing, could you have done it? Do you really think with your strength, you could have tied me up? I stood there stunned. What if it wasn't me who came to pick you up, but another woman? Not possible, I was designated with your team leader. Damn it. I was deceived. I felt guilty for so long, and it turns out it was his plan. You trickster. I said through gritted teeth. What did you say? Samuel pinched my face. I said, you owe me one. Samuel looked at me. Then untie yourself. Chapter 21. After it was over, he held me and kissed my hair gently. Now, whatever wish you have, I'll try my best to fulfill it. I originally wanted to take things slow with you. I've been waiting for so many years. But now I regret it, I'm afraid there's no time left. I will make sure you have no regrets. Don't worry, I will always be with you. I pondered in his arms. A wish? Can you randomly give me 10 million? He glanced at me. In the next second, he took out his phone. Ding. 10 million deposited into Alipay. Damn. I had intended to tell him that cancer is just cancer, not a death sentence. But now, as I stared at the 10 million on my phone, conflicting emotions surged within me. I decided to bring it up tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll transfer the money to prevent him from regretting it. After Samuel made the money, he was about to take me to shower. He filled the tub for me and was about to leave. Can we shower together? Your body probably isn't quite suitable. It's fine, it won't be a problem at all. I started to act fragile. I'm just feeling a bit uncomfortable. Uncomfortable? Should we go to the hospital now? Samuel was very nervous. It's okay, just hold me. I loosened the belt of his bathrobe. Just like this, don't wear it. Samuel? In the end, he complied with my request. Throughout, he was very nervous, his movements gentle, and he was very considerate, asking how I was feeling. Once again, I experienced the ultimate enjoyment of a rich woman. The surgery was scheduled for the next day. My mom accompanied me. Samuel wanted to come, but I told 800 lies to prevent him from following. You lied to him? My mom saw through my tricks in an instant. I didn't. I added. This is cancer we're talking about. He thought you were going to die, and he was already contacting hospitals to set up a cancer foundation. I had overplayed this time. Samuel eventually found out on the day of the surgery. When he found out, I pretended to be dead scared. I thought he would be angry, would scold me. Instead, he hugged me tightly. Thank goodness, I was so worried. He had been waiting outside the operating room the whole time, and when he saw me after the surgery, he smiled. For the next month, I stayed in the hospital, and Samuel came every day. Everything was normal. I thought he had almost forgotten about this incident. But it was a month later, when I went to the company to submit my hospital bill for reimbursement and asked Samuel to sign it, that he directly asked me to close the office door. Why are you closing the door? Shouldn't you explain to me properly about your cancer? Roar. He was clearly settling scores. Chapter 22. As soon as I followed his words and closed the office door, I turned around, and he pinned me against the door. I cook for you every day, soak your feet, let you touch my abs casually, and I got deceived so badly by you. What did I deceive you about? Thyroid cancer is still cancer, isn't it? I don't understand what you're talking about. I was still trying to be tough. But Samuel laughed. Those days, I couldn't eat or sleep properly. I even picked out a double burial plot for us. Why do you think I'm mad? Samuel, don't go too far. Tell me, how should I punish you? This is the office, there are people outside, don't act recklessly. It's after work. Besides, what if someone sees? Samuel directly lifted me and sat me on his desk. I tried to push against the table, moving back, but he pulled me back in. Samuel, calm down. He hugged my waist and looked at me with a smile. Good, help me loosen my tie. As I was untying it, I pleaded. Samuel, can we go home tonight? No. He used the tie to bind me. You. He then directly kissed me on the head, kissing me until my mind went blank, showing no intention of letting me go. Just then, Sophie called me. I initially wanted to hang up, but thinking about her deceiving me, I answered the call. Lydia, you said you wouldn't compete with me for Samuel, what do you mean now? Why did you use my alternate account to deceive Samuel about deactivating my QQ account? Later, Samuel told me that Sophie pretended to be me and talked to him for a while. He realized it wasn't the real account and stopped contacting her, but she kept persisting. She even photoshopped pictures, and he had no idea. Sophie froze for a moment, then finally burst out. He's mine. I grabbed Samuel's tie tightly. But now he's mine. I made Samuel chuckle, and he affectionately kissed me. Yes, yes, in the past, present, and future, you are the only one for me. Sophie suddenly fell silent, only crying after a while. Samuel, are you too? We're busy right now. If you don't hang up, you can keep listening. Samuel eventually lost his patience, checked his phone, and kissed my earlobe again. Do you like this? Speak. Upon hearing a sound from Sophie's end, she hung up in a second. My heart was about to explode, but I still refused to speak. Let's see how long you can hold out. He asked again. Do you like me? I struggled to say 2 words, I do. He kissed me even more passionately. In just 2 short hours, I endured all his punishment. Finally, he held me in his arms and softly said, I really like you. As I watched him neatly put on my clothes, I cursed him 1,000 times. Beast. As we walked out, someone suddenly entered the elevator. It was Andrew. Andrew looked at Samuel in shock, then at me. CEO Samuel, are you just leaving work now? Yes. Samuel ignored him and instead looked at my neck, smiling. As if admiring his perfect masterpiece, he seemed pleased with himself. I quickly pulled up my collar. I heard your uncle opened a diamond shop. Samuel suddenly spoke up. Yeah. Does CEO Samuel need to buy a diamond? Samuel glanced at me. I might need to look at some rings. Andrew immediately got excited. If you have time, I can take you to my uncle's shop to choose? Sure. In the garage, Samuel went to get the car. Andrew drove the car up to me. Get in, I heard you had surgery, and you've been forced to work overtime. It's late, let me give you a ride. No need. What are you doing at this hour? Can you get back safely as a girl alone? I really couldn't be bothered with him. Just then, Samuel's Rolls-Royce pulled up in front of Andrew's car. Samuel rolled down the window, giving me a gentle smile. Baby, get in the car. In an instant, I saw Andrew's smile freeze in place. Under Andrew's astonished gaze, I walked towards Samuel's car, opened the door, and got in. The car drove far away, and through the rearview mirror, I saw Andrew's car still not moving. You're so reluctant, should I let you off? Samuel's expression immediately darkened, and he parked the car by the side of the road. I didn't see, get off if you want to. You dare. As he spoke, Samuel leaned over and kissed me on the head. Are you afraid of dying if you humor me a bit? Samuel, I'm still in pain, are you even human? He immediately restrained himself. Sorry, my bad. How about I give you a foot soak when we get back to ease the pain? I ignored him. He spent the entire half-hour drive trying to comfort me for 30 minutes. Chapter 23. The next day at work, Andrew ran into me in the company cafeteria and intentionally sat across from me. Lydia, what's your relationship with CEO Samuel? What's it to you? It's not the kind of relationship I'm thinking of, is it? What are you thinking? Mistress. Andrew, don't force me to slap you. If there weren't so many colleagues around, the cafeteria had my favorite braised pork ribs for lunch, I might really have a fight with Andrew. What do you think you are to him, a girlfriend? I couldn't be bothered with him and just walked away with my tray. But he followed me. Don't daydream. He and us are not in the same class. You're single-parent family, my mom has never agreed, so. How could you think that CEO Samuel, with his background, would accept your conditions? So, you hired that intern because I come from a single-parent family? Yes. Go eat shit. I directly slammed the plate on his head. But now I regret it. I find that I still can't forget you. He wasn't angry, instead, he pulled me towards him. CEO Samuel even let me accompany him to choose a diamond ring. He accepted the arranged marriage from his family. You were just played by him for a few days. He will still marry a rich girl from a wealthy family. Andrew, you make me sick. I shook off his hand and walked away without looking back. In the afternoon, Samuel, who returned from a business trip, somehow learned about this incident and had a serious face all afternoon. During the meeting, he scolded everyone. After the meeting, it was heard that Andrew was fired. Andrew went to beg Samuel, causing quite a scene. After listening to him for a while, Samuel only said one thing in the end. "I'm annoyed just seeing you now. If you don't want to be unable to continue in this industry, I advise you to leave now." Andrew left in a hurry. I heard he helped that Chloe fabricate something, and the leaders found out. Both Chloe and him got fired. Why would CEO Samuel be focusing on a little guy like Andrew? How did he offend him to make him so angry? Well, do you think it could be jealousy over a love rival? A group of people discussed, then suddenly one person asked me. I was startled. I don't know, I have no idea. Everyone stared at me. It's not my business. Every time CEO Samuel gets angry, isn't it after you and Andrew have an argument? How coincidental, it feels like protecting someone. How is that possible? Just a coincidence. I nervously laughed. When I got back in the evening, Samuel didn't say a word to me. He poured foot-soaked water for me by himself, placing it in front of me. He also put the fruits brought by the auntie in front of me. Even when I went to take a shower, the sound of the door closing was exceptionally loud. Everything he did was to show that he was angry. After taking a shower, he came out wearing long pants, wrapping himself up tightly, not letting me touch him. Seeing him like this, I hugged the blanket and was about to go to the guest room. "Where are you going?" "To the guest room." "Can't you see that I'm angry?" "Yes, I can see, that's why I want to go to the guest room even more." "Come back." He came straight over and grabbed me. "Samuel, you can't be unjustly angry with me like this." This afternoon, Andrew voluntarily sat at my table, he even said I was your mistress, so I slammed his plate. I had no intention of talking to him from start to finish. I was already feeling wronged enough, and you're angry with me on top of that. I shed a couple of tears. Samuel suddenly panicked. I'm sorry, it's my fault. I thought you were always involved with him, I didn't control my emotions well, I was wrong." "It's not your fault, you're CEO Samuel, everything you say is right." "It's my fault, please don't be angry, tell me how to make it up to you?" I wiped away my tears in a second. Indeed, my mom was right. The quickest way to placate a man is to get angry yourself and let the man comfort you. I don't know either, but I feel uncomfortable. The next moment, he took out his phone. Ding. Transfer of 10 million yuan on Alipay. I instantly felt relieved. Feeling better now? Baby. Feeling better. After a while, another 10 million came in. And now. Completely better. Samuel hugged me, kissing my face. Will you marry me? What? I was still basking in the happiness of receiving the money, feeling like I was floating on air. I would agree to anything he said. I love you, I want to spend my life with you, you can only belong to me, okay? Okay. He took out a ring from the bedside table and put it on me. No backing out. Let's get the certificate tomorrow. So soon. He leaned on both sides of me and touched my nose with his nose. But you must not call me your husband. Samuel, you. Call me husband. Husband. Be a good girl. Extra after marriage. A month after being with Samuel, I noticed he was always avoiding me to take phone calls on the balcony recently. There was a girl's lipstick in the car. Was he having an affair? I couldn't believe it, covering my heart and sneaking to the balcony to eavesdrop. I already bought you a car, what else do you want? I want a bag too, don't push your luck. If you dare to go see her, I'll break your legs. Oh no. It's true. Giving her a car, giving her a bag, and still afraid the girl might come find me? Samuel, you're just too despicable. During dinner, he went to help me with the soup, leaving his phone on the table, and it rang again. The name displayed, Chloe? Chloe had left a month ago, and I could still remember her pure and sweet face. Could it be? I steadied myself. Aren't you going to answer the call? Help me hang up. Samuel just glanced at it. Look at that, he's so calm like it's nothing. Then, the next second, Chloe called directly on my phone. Don't answer. Samuel even helped me hang up. Doesn't he have something to hide? What does she want from you? Samuel just said. She's annoying, don't bother. Me? The next day, I nervously went to work, and Chloe showed up. She went straight to Samuel's office upon arrival. The other woman came knocking? I don't know how long she stayed inside, but Chloe finally came out and greeted me with satisfaction. Lydia, let's have dinner together tonight. Do you think you and I have a relationship where we eat together? Chloe looked at me. Why are you so heartless, just like Samuel? I've never seen such a brazen mistress. Endured until the end of work, I got into Samuel's car, ready to confront him. But as soon as I got in, Chloe reached out from the back seat and hugged my neck. Lydia, don't be like my cousin, he's so cold. Chloe, let go. Samuel gave her a stern look. I was completely stunned. What cousin? Didn't Samuel tell you? I'm his cousin, and I'm interning at the company. He promised to buy me a Maserati. A Maserati? The information was overwhelming, and I couldn't quite process it. And then? Then he gave me a $50 Maserati coupon. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Samuel couldn't hold back and scolded her. Chloe, interning is your own business, are you here just for the money? Samuel, people shouldn't burn bridges, why did you arrange for me to intern in Andrew's department? Why, when I asked you about Andrew, you said he was fine, you didn't even tell me he has a girlfriend, and his girlfriend is. Don't say anymore, pick a color for the car, we'll pick it up this weekend. Samuel's expression looked a bit unnatural. I was so shocked my jaw dropped. Thank you, cousin, thank you, Lydia. I was just heartbroken and in pain, and I was thinking if my cousin did it on purpose. I'll buy you a handbag too, get out of the car. Samuel kicked Chloe out of the car. Before leaving, she leaned in close to my ear. My cousin is so cunning, he only has eyes for you, Lydia. I'm so happy, you actually got him to chase after you. After she left, she sent me another message. Lydia, take care. And then, there was silence inside the car. Samuel, is what she said true? Samuel didn't answer me, and finally drove the car to a deserted beach. Yes. You sent your cousin to seduce Andrew just to pursue me? The internship was a family request, I can't control who she likes, and Andrew had already turned his attention away from you, don't you understand that? But you're so scheming about this, aren't you? I didn't start out that way, but you deceived me into bed, Lydia. I used some tricks to get myself a name, what's wrong with that? I looked at him, intending to tease him a bit, but his last words made me burst out laughing. So, is CEO Samuel finally getting a title? Samuel also smiled helplessly. The title is all given by the lady of the house. After saying that, he turned towards me and affectionately kissed me. When I was 17, I already wanted to be like this with you.